Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Be Good show, where we shine a light on the positive things that are going on in public education. And something so positive that's going on at Legacy is our focus on dual credit and getting kids prepared for college readiness future. And we brought our counselors. And before we go on with our really what we do at Legacy to prepare our kids, let's go ahead with introductions.
Amelia Zambrano, and I'm the counselor over at the Plano campus, K through 12.
Natasha Forge, I'm at the Mesquite campus, 9 through 12.
Yes, and the reason why we have one K-12 and one 9-12 is the disparity in numbers, but slowly but surely those numbers are, we have almost 100 new kids in Plano this year, so we're really starting to settle in nicely in Plano area. I don't know if people know this, but we have about 1,200 kids in the Mesquite location in 3 different buildings, so growing quickly in that area. Our focus today is college readiness by grade. We want to talk about what we do to prepare kids at the elementary, middle school, and in the high school grades. And so let's start with elementary. Ms. Zambrano, talk to us about how do we shine a focus on college, with our kinders, our first graders?
Yes. Well, first of all, I like to start with saying that, I get the question, when is a good time to start, talking about college? And my answer, and I strongly believe by heart that it's never too early and never too late to begin, saying the word college, because the moment that kinder students step into a classroom, that's the moment that we move forward in saying, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? They start hearing it, and so we, bring about their interests. So beginning kinder all the way through elementary 5th grade, we talk a lot about, dress for success. We have a special day where they get to dress as their favorite profession. In addition to Careers on Wheels. As a matter of fact, at the end of October, we will be having our Careers on Wheels event, where we reach out to our businesses and careers around the area. For example, the fire department, we have the DA, the police department, paramedics, bring the ambulance, bring the fire truck. We were trying to get a helicopter for this school year, but it's in the bucket. We try every year. Hopefully one day we'll get them in, so that our students could go out and explore the different types of businesses and get a chance to talk and mingle. And the professionals always talk about, the importance of staying in school and, getting the education that they need and what to do good in class and whatnot. But that's one of the events that occurs. We also have college color days where staff, scholars, everybody at the campus wear their favorite college t-shirt and expose the colleges. We also have National School Choice, where coach also involves all the scholars to participate in an event, and they dance and they perform, and they each describe why they're choosing the school. First of all, Legacy, and then further down, to see what the schools are of their interest in the future. So K through 5th, like I said, we also have a college day as well.
So we almost trick them into it. We start
from day
backwards.
one.
Yeah, we start with the career focus, and then we get them hooked on a career, and then we say, okay, well, here's how you get there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but that's very cute.
Yes, and moving on to the 6th grade level, we start with Naviance. We do have a curriculum that we follow through Naviance, which is a portal. It's a family connection. Both students and families at home are able to log in. And the first 6th to 7th grade, they begin to start mapping out their goals. They start setting goals to, it's kind of like a checklist, so that they can start sparking what interest or what are they more inclined into doing. They do what's called the strong interest inventory or surveys, and they reflect on the goals that they're setting, and they start being persistent, and they continue to monitor that checklist throughout their school years. But other than that, career clusters is another activity, another task that's been assigned through Naviance that they just build upon as they progress to the next grade level. And getting close to 8th grade as well, we start introducing them to the courses for the graduation plan that they need to be following, then the pathways, the endorsements, and that's another way to help them understand that it's a process.
And then ultimately they take the TSI. Can you?
Yes. Spring of 8th grade, they're given the choice sheets, and then they are being introduced to what the TSI, which is the college preparedness test that they take with the college in order to see if they qualify to take the
They have to have a certain
college
scale
class.
score, right?
Yes, and they do reading, they have math, and then the essay writing as well.
And how do we prepare kids for the TSI?
Well, we every Monday we meet with them. In the morning I meet with 6, 7, and 8, and then in the afternoon I meet with 9, 10, and 11, all the way to 12. And this is where all of this is happening. We have flashcards, we have study guides that they are being provided, and we work upon, helping them prepare.
Are you seeing some college-ready kids already in 8th grade?
Yes, a matter of fact, yes. We already had 2 college nights and a great turnout for families. And that's another thing that we also can make connection with the families. We work together so that we can help them be more involved. And that way we're working as a team so that the scholar knows that we're all on it together and that we care about their future.
And I know that's imperative actually for both schools because many of our parents did not go to college. And so research, let me finish that and then I want you to tell that story. Research shows that kids whose parents didn't go to college are less likely to go to college. And so it's our job to turn that around by informing parents, by motivating kids. Talk a little bit about your personal situation, Ms. Zambrano.
Yes, and I gladly would share that. And I take a lot of pride in simply because I know that struggle is real. Challenges are real, and sacrifices are real. And me growing up in a low-income, non-English speaking parents, where my father only completed 6th grade, my mom only completed 3rd grade schooling, me being a sink and float kid in the education, because back then the No Child Left Behind Act was still not established. And not having the ideal counselor to guide me through these steps or this plan that we are actually implementing at Legacy, not having that, I mean, we ignored the fact that my parents were not going to be able to afford college after graduation. But nonetheless, the perseverance and the push, despite the fact that they never had that, my parents instilled that in me to push forward and move forward. But yes,
so now you're here,
so
sitting here with
now,
the masters.
and then yes, I tell my kids, my scholars, when I meet with them, and I ask them, and it just impacts them. When I ask them, well, how much do you think I paid for my college? How much do you think I paid for my bachelor's degree? And they're like, 100,000 and 80,000, and they start guessing, giving me all these estimates, and they are in awe, or the room goes silent when I say not a single penny. And that was because I didn't know that the FAFSA existed until I graduated high school. When I did my own research, when I started, seeing what I didn't want to stop there.
You
I knew
shouldn't have
that-
made it. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids who don't have the adult push at the school usually don't. That speaks highly
Right.
of your
Right.
grit and your perseverance.
Yes, and right now I'm sitting here with a master's degree. I have 12 hours into my PhD in
Good for
educational
you.
leadership, and I continue to have my parents by me to.
So you're a role model now to your whole family.
Yes, right, exactly.
No pressure. It's good
Yes.
pressure. All right, so we've talked about elementary. We talked about the middle schools, and so we're busy there preparing them for the high schools. All right, so Ms. Forge, what is happening at the high schools? And so there's a dual thread in my mind of what's happening at the high schools, because there's an opportunity at the high school, but we're also preparing them for the opportunity after high school. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, basically, this is a partnership between the school as well as with at home. So in 9th grade, the students, they began to work with kind of like one-on-one with the counselors, and we began to discuss the pathways in which they want. We normally start that at the end of their 8th grade year. I will say for the Mesquite campus for this year, it did kind of start with the 9th grade when we discussed their endorsement that they wanted to choose. But we also offer the PSAT, which for our 9th graders will begin to help them understand how important it is when they actually are 12th graders and they take the SAT to be able to get into colleges and universities. And just to kind of piggyback on the TSI that you guys just related to a few minutes ago, the TSI, we do offer that, and it is taken by our students so that they can get into a community college. But the SAT and the ACT, those tests that we want them to take and be successful on so that they can get into the colleges of their choice as they are applying.
And those scores also count towards scholarship opportunities, right?
Yes, and we'll talk about scholarships in a few minutes. Yes, ma'am. All right, so some of the things that parents can be doing and talking with students at home about is just thinking about the different colleges, thinking about the majors that they want to attend, the majors that they want to have, as well as the minors. So just having that conversation at home, just talking about college, or if you're not going to talk about college, they may want to talk about a vocational school, something that they're going to do outside of college, outside of just going and getting a job. But one of the things that we want the students to do is to make good grades. So we kind of look at their progress over time to ensure that they are being successful, and the teachers are very good at helping in that situation. In the 9th grade, we do want students to begin to start working on their resume. They don't realize how important it is to start getting into extracurricular activities and begin to build that, because the schools, they want the holistic student. They really do like students who are making all A's, but they also want to see that they're also participating in other activities outside of just making good grades. And that could be in the school as well as outside of the school.
So you're talking service project, community service,
volunteer,
things that they're volunteering, being in like participating in church events, things of that nature. Yes, ma'am. So in 10th grade, the students will then take the actual PSAT. So remember, 9th grade, they're taking, it's like a 8-9 PSAT. And then in 10th grade, they take the PSAT, and then we also offer the ASVAB. And so the ASVAB is a military battery test that is taken to kind of begin to help them to develop, just like with the Navians, to help them develop the skills, well, not the skills, I'm sorry, but the let them kind of like know their strengths and weaknesses in different areas so that they may pursue those particular jobs and then go from there. And during our rotations, we basically focus on potential careers, things that they want to do, things that they, and then how to actually begin to work towards that. We just did an activity not too long ago where the students had to, and this was 10th through 12th, where they had to basically determine what their career was going to be, their occupation, and then they had to decide where they were going to live. They actually had to look up information. They had to go and decide where they were going to live, or even down to the cell phone that they were going to have, the car that they were going to drive.
Did they have a budget based on their salary?
Yes. And so a lot of them realized, I can't make it off of this
$300 bill.
Right. And so I was like, I won't never get to go out. I won't get to eat out or anything. So some of them really did begin to start focusing on what they really want to do in life as it relates to being successful. One of the things in 10th grade we also encourage, and that's really, of course, according to student and parent permission, of course, is to get a summer job, because then they can start working and then begin to learn leadership skills. And also, even though we are a PBL school, but then they also learn more team building on a team outside of the school system.
Well, they get to practice those soft career skills that we grade them for. We give them grades starting in 6th grade for career skills. And so now with a summer job, they get to practice collaboration, communication, self-efficacy. I was talking to a young man today, and he told me he was working, and he wasn't on his best behavior, and I said, do you behave like that at work? He said, no. I said, well, you need to think of us as your day work and not behave that way, because we have so much we can meet your 3 and 5 year goals if you will work with us and pretend and treat us like your job.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing that, I'm sorry to interrupt, another thing that we do interviews. So they practice and drill, like if, we do the whole setting of the table, we have teachers participate and they go over like a real interview.
Etiquette.
Etiquette. Mm-hmm.
Wow, good.
Yes.
And then in the 11th grade, the students will also take the PSAT and the ASVAB, and then we're hoping at this point that their scores are increasing from the 10th grade of doing so, and then they begin to make their college lists, and they're researching, they're gathering information, and that's another aspect in which parents can be most involved, is to help the students think about this college that they want to attend, if they want to attend colleges in Texas or if they want to go outside of Texas, the major, minor, things of that nature, so that the students begin to start looking into what they really want to do and hone in and start narrowing down those college choices. And then you also want to start thinking about searching for scholarships, because like as Ms. Zambrano stated, of course we want all of our students to be able to attend college, and we want them to be able to attend college debt-free. So that's the ultimate goal. So that's one of the things that we also do. We work on in rotations, making sure that the students have access to different scholarships, but it is up to them to apply, and many of them do have essays, and that's where our students kind of lack. So at home, parents can make sure that their students are reading, developing those the vocabulary, and then begin to start writing, because those essays really do matter.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we've had college nights in the past in Mesquite. And when will we have another one of those?
Well, actually, upcoming we will have a senior night, so that we can go over like the FASFA scholarships and things of that nature, and then we're scheduling our.
Well, that's where the colleges come to us.
But the senior night is just going to be
Right.
about.
But
yes,
college
then
day.
the college night. Yes, we
Yes.
are. We're planning.
And
it.
do we take kids out to college sometimes?
Yes.
We actually
College
have
trip.
one in Plano coming up October 14. I think we're visiting UTD college, and
Okay. Yeah,
next
we
week.
need to get them.
Just next week.
We need to get them there, because part of what the research on kids who are usually from poverty backgrounds, minority kids, the reasons they don't go to college is because they're too afraid to step on the college campus.
Mhm.
My daughter had the opportunity one time of walking. It was the son of a restaurant, or a Mexican restaurant, and he wanted to go to college, but he was afraid to go by himself. So she took him.
Yeah.
You just need that support.
Mhm. And get a feel for what college really
Yes.
looks like.
Yes.
And feels like.
Yes.
Well, our students, they have an opportunity to go to our seniors, they have an opportunity to go to Grand Canyon University. And so some
That's in
students have.
New
It's,
Mexico?
it's in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yes.
Okay.
So some of them have already been accepted into Grand Canyon
Wow,
University. And
wonderful.
then at the end of the month, they'll get a free airfare and free food.
Fantastic.
And then they get to stay on campus for 3 days.
That's a life-changing experience right there.
It really is.
Because many of our kids have never been on a plane. Many
Mhm.
of our kids don't, unless when we took them to China, when we took them to Washington, that's the first time they've done something like that.
Mhm.
So we are able to offer them experiences that literally change their life, change the direction of their life, I should say.
Okay, and I'll just finish up. I know we have a couple more things to discuss, but in the 11th grade year, there in the spring, the students will take the SAT. They'll take that with us free of charge for the parents, and then going into 12th grade, then we offer the SAT.
Sort of for a
we
final
offer
time,
the
yeah.
yes, one final time. But however, there are waivers that are also provided if students aren't satisfied with their scores. If they want to practice and then take the test, then we do have waivers for those students who are on free and reduced lunch. Other things that students will need to be working on is like asking for letters of recommendation from their teachers. This is very important. And then, like, of course, keeping up their grades. That's very that's some of the things that some of the students
GPA?
really don't realize until their 11th or 12th grade year, and they're saying, Ms. Forge, what do I need to do? You have to make straight A's, honey, if you want your GPA to increase. And so some of them have really been working very hard. And then they do need to, of course, the students need to complete the FASFA, and then the parents also have a role in that. So that's a collaborative effort that they need to work on together.
So let's talk a little bit more about FASFA. FASFA is what?
It's the free application for, federal student aid. And so many times, a lot of people look at FAFSA as the student loans, but it's not just student loans. There's also grants involved in it, and a lot of scholarships. The foundations, the different scholarship organizations, they will not offer the scholarship to students unless they have completed the FAFSA. So that's why it's very important. And the first day to sign up for that was October the 1st.
What kind of information are they asking on the FASFA?
Oh, you want to?
Basically, the income and number of members in the family to see if they qualify. It's what the ratio estimated.
Yes, and if how many people are in college in the family as well.
So it's similar to a free and reduced lunch application, which many parents don't like to fill out because they feel there's a stigma to it. But in fact, it's the door to more opportunity.
It's
The
wide
lunch
open,
program is
wide
the same.
open.
If I could get more people to fill that out, even if you didn't take part in the lunch program, even if you didn't have your kids eat lunch, but you filled it out, you qualified, that would bump our numbers up, and then we get more resources. And so we need to look at these federal opportunities as what they are, and that is to help our students. And so there's no shame. Matter of fact, again, thinking of it as a door to opportunity for any student who fills it out is the way to look at it.
Correct. And one of the things that most parents don't really understand either is that even though with the FAFSA they fill it out, they may receive an offer letter for money, but they can deny it. They don't have to accept any of the money, or they can accept
All
a
of it.
portion of the money that they may need to kind of help supplement.
Is that money that has to be paid back?
No, not the
no.
grant.
Yes, well, not if it's a grant, but if it's a loan, then that is money that they will have to pay back. But I just want them to be aware that there is an option to deny it.
And
they
so
don't have
is
to
it a
accept
low
it.
interest rate? I mean, is it money that is doesn't come at high cost?
Let's see. There is an interest rate. However, what happens is when they are in undergrad, then there's not a subsidized,
Standardized
and
and
subsidized and unsubsidized. So I think it's unsubsidized to where
It occurs.
it occur in interest after they have graduated.
Okay, so they could start paying it off earlier and
Yes,
not.
they can pay it
Yeah,
off.
so for
early.
example, when I got my bachelor's, I received grants, full grants, books paid for, classes paid for, even in the summer. I got, a grant. I never had to pay a penny back. But once I pursued my master's degree, well, then that's when I applied for student loans. And those are the ones that you take monthly payments, payment plan, and to pay back. But,
Okay,
yeah,
well, that made the difference, though.
yes, very much so.
Instead of a FAFSA, then, if parents didn't want to fill out the FAFSA, there are other ways of saving for college.
Yes. I will say my grandmother, when my children were born, in 2002 or 2000, my daughter Ariel, she was born, and they had what they call the Texas Tomorrow Fund,
We had
and then
that.
you can pay so much money in, and then the state will pay so much money. So she's using that now as she attends community college. However, by the time my second daughter Asia was born in 2002, they no longer had that option. But what they do have now is the savings. It's a savings plans of 529, and with this savings plan, parents and grandparents, they can begin to start the process of saving money for the child's tuition, books, anything dealing with education. And a lot of times what people think is like, oh, I put the money such as like in an IRA and I don't have access to it, or I have to pay a penalty. But as long as they can prove that as long as they can prove that the money is going towards books or some type of educational, then then they won't have to pay anything. They won't have to pay a penalty fee for that. And so they can put in up to $75,000 per year.
So we are including in the post on this podcast links to the FAFSA so they understand it better, links to 529 savings plans, and then there's another link called 529 versus the Roth. And the Roth savings plan, some people may know, is you can take money that has been taxed by the government and then use that to open a Roth account so that when you take that money out, you don't have to pay taxes on it because you've already paid taxes. So there's an opportunity to research this more fully. But the takeaway here is that parents should think of the 529 for their kids as a piggy bank. Put $5 in, put $25 in, put the birthday money in, put the Christmas money in there, because the accumulation and what happens over time is is what you want, and it's almost magical. You start when they're 0 years old. The celebration to the baby being born is grandma opens an account, or dad opens the account, and you start asking people to put money in it. They want to know what baby wants for a gift. Money for the 529 here, and so by the time they're 18, they're many thousands of dollars in there, because we didn't touch it, because we kept focus and little by little built that account up. Let's see, you have just little bit of Moolah, Spot, FastWeb. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yes, those are the scholarships. So when we talked about scholarships earlier, we want students to begin to start looking into scholarships their 11th grade year, but we really want them to start applying at the end of 11th grade, going into their 12th grade year. And some resources that we use at the school is FastWeb.org, and we also use scholarships.com. Those, of course, the students will have to complete an essay, which once again, they really hate completing essays, but it's beneficial because that's where the most money comes from. However, there are other platforms like moolahspot.com and niche.com, and then the students can apply. They will basically they can apply for race, they can apply for gender, they can apply for their career, their occupation. They would apply in what else? It's just various things that they can apply for, and a lot of those they don't have to complete an application. So it may be $500 here, $1,000 there, but when it's just like pennies, when you have pennies and it makes a nickel,
that's right. That's that piggy bank we're talking about.
And so therefore,
I had a thought. We're coming to the end of the show. We've talked about what happens in each of the levels, specifically then the high school, but it's almost like an upside down funnel. So we've had all this career effort that turns into, so how are you going to meet the requirements of that career, funneling up towards high school. At Legacy, we have the opportunity to have both dual credit and preparing kids for dual credit while in high school, and then at the same time preparing kids for college after they graduate from us. And so you can see that that's a lot of work. There's a lot of preparation at different levels that needs to be done. But one of the things that really stood out is that college essay. They only need one good one, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I would encourage parents to do is to talk about the college essay, whether it's starting in 10th grade, if they start building it in Naviance early, but they need that one perfect college essay that has been proofed by their English teacher, it's been proofed by their counselor, it's the parents have seen it, so that it can be a thing of beauty. And then it's copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. So that's where we need to really get our parents to help us, to really be asking them about the college essay, because that and their scores will win the game for them. Could the essay and their grades and their test scores could mean free college. And so that is very much something to strive for. Now we're starting to get parents who are becoming a little bit savvy. Not enough, but we have parents now that are sitting down with us in ninth grade and making us have an individual plan, academic plan for their child that includes every dual credit that applies. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for parents to become that sophisticated, that savvy, and that involved. That involved, because they're going to help us get better at doing that for kids.
I agree.
Well, we have done our 30 minutes, and it went fast again, right? 30 minutes feels like 5 minutes in this room.
Yes.
We thank you for the information you brought us, and I know that we're going to be seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m.